Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we got our Q&A session. Go ahead, B.
So this one writes in, is it okay to give your girlfriend rent money or pay her car payment?
Is it okay with you? That's the question you got to ask. Go ask your friends, family, and colleagues, and they'll give you their opinions, and they'll give you their opinions based on their experiences and what they think's right. But that's one for you to decide on your own. But I will tell you this. Depends on how much money you got and what's the trade-off. Now, someone's going to say, that sounds like, what's the trade-off? It's like, is it your pleasure to take care of your woman in this way? Just know this. You're setting a precedent. So this is going to be an expectation. You pay the rent once, you're going to be asked twice, 3 times, 4 times, and soon enough you pay every month. And then if you don't, she's going to go, what's this? If you pay the car payment, it's the same thing. It's going to come back to you again. So the question is, if you're paying the rent, where's the finish line? Are we just doing this for a month or two till you move in with me? Are we paying? When does the car actually get paid off? Am I using the car? Am I paying your rent, but I also stay at your house 3 or 4 times a week? There's some variables involved in here, right? But there's some dudes out there be like, oh, I would never pay for a girlfriend's rent money. There's variables, there's nuanced situations here, but you have to, number one, be able to afford it. So if you feel like it's totally out of your budget and you're putting it on your credit card, you're going into debt to support their debt, that's a problem. If it's not your pleasure, then you'll grow contempt. In other words, deep down inside, you don't want to pay their rent, but you're just doing it because they manipulated you with a certain action, or, a little carrot at the end of the stick. You have to decide for you if that's in your morals and values. But there's a trade-off. If you pay for her rent, this is how the human mind works. Well, I stay there 3 nights a week, so I can validate it. Well, she's going to move in 2 months, so it's only for 2 months. Well, she lost her job, and I know she'll get another one. Okay. But I've had clients before, she's an alcoholic, she doesn't like to work, she's lazy. It's like, don't pay the rent for that girl. She's just looking for a sponsor, right? So it depends on the circumstance, but you have to decide that for yourself. B, you got a take on this? Have you dealt with this before?
Yeah, I mean, in limited amounts, but if I had the money, I think would be just like you said, that's the most important thing. If I've got the money, I probably would not have a problem helping out my girlfriend, but I wouldn't also want it to become like a steady thing.
Well, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Well, that's the problem. My point is, if there's no finish line, right? She lost her job unexpectedly. She's got a master's degree. She's qualified. She's going to get another job. All right. Well, then there you go. If, like I said, you actually stay at her place quite often, it works for you too, right? You have the money to do it. Okay. This isn't one of those like, oh, someone's just an automatic simp because they pay for their girl's rent.
Right.
There's certain circumstances to it, right? That's the way I look at it. The car payment. Are you driving the car? Is it a car you like to drive? Is it going to ruin her credit if she loses that car? So those are things that someone will go, that's not my business. Sure, that's fine. But if you're going to do it, you're going to have to build the case to do it or to not do it. Building the case can be done either way. But the reality is once you do it, it'll be asked of you again, most likely. Unless, like I said, it's an out of character thing. Like they just lost their job. They're down on the luck. And you've known this girlfriend for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You know her character. She's not going to need your help with rent every month. But if you really know that she's the type that's lazy or seeking someone to take care of her, which should be evident in the first 3 or 4 months, 2 months, well, then just know the minute you do that, you're her job. Meaning pay her rent, pay her car payment, and probably she's going to take care of you in other ways. But that's the trade-off. But at the end of the day, like I said, you can ask 10 different people, but you have to decide what's really in your heart and in your checkbook, which is an old term, but you know what I mean. All right, hope that helps you.